Hey, what's up you guys, the Curious Owl here, and today I have the announcement video for the next round of Battle of the Bookish. So, if you are not familiar with what Battle of the Bookish is, it is a month-long readathon that I host with two of my friends, Adri from Adriology and Liv from Two Quills. So this is the third round of Battle of the Bookish, and I am so excited for this because this round we have so many new things happening. We have some things that are going to be added on in terms of platforms that you can reach us at. We have a ton of new prompts this time. We also have another theme for this round that was picked by the winners of the last round of Battle of the Bookish, and so much more. So hold tight, we're gonna go through this whole thing together, and I will be going over also some of the rules for this whole thing. So one of the things I want to go over first is the fact that this time we have created a TikTok account for Battle of the Bookish. That is the biggest thing we have this round. It is actually being run by a fellow participant in the Battle of the Bookish Readathon, who is my personal friend, Megan. She is what is considered our clock watcher, and she will basically be running the TikTok in the sense that she will be responding to comments, helping people out on the TikTok side of things. This means that we have a brand new platform for all of you guys to contact us at and participate in some very fun challenges we are going to have over the course of the month of January. So keep your eyes peeled for that. By the time this video goes out, that TikTok account will also have been created and the first video of it posted. So I will leave it down in the description for you guys to go follow if you would like to hang out with us. And then also the Discord for the readathon will also be linked in the description, because that is where we are going to be having the most of our interactions. That is how you will implement your reads for the readathon to count for points that will help your respective teams. But before we get into exactly the nitty-gritty stuff, let's go into some of the specifics of the readathon, such as when is the readathon happening? We have been doing this readathon biannually, where we do it 2 times every year in January and in June. So this round is going to be the entire month of the first month of 2022, January. So it is going to be an exciting time, 31 days of reading and getting points in and fighting to have your team be the winner. How are the teams divvied up? This readathon's round is inspired by gods and goddesses, as was picked by the winners of the last round of Battle of the Bookish. We have divided teams into 3 main pantheons: Egyptian, Greek, and Norse. So all of our prompts for our teams are inspired by the different deities that are ascribed to those particular pantheons, and you have the choice to pick which pantheon you want to be a part of. Each team has different team prompts, but everybody then also has additional prompts that they are welcome to use for a general purpose. We also have some very interesting things going on with the prompts and how you can earn more points for your team, which I will get into later. But the gist of it is that you will then be able to also pick prompts from other teams, provided that you have completed your team prompts first. Basically what's going to have to happen is you're going to have to complete the 5 prompts for your team first. General doesn't necessarily matter as much because everybody gets to pick and choose from that. But if you have all of your team prompts picked, and we will be keeping track of this, you will then be able to pick off different prompts from other teams to earn yourself more points for your team. So that is a big thing that we really wanted to incorporate with this round to make it much more competitive and fun. And we also have some prizes for people who get the most amount of points for their team. So let's get into some of the nitty-gritty details. So who are going to be the heads of each of the teams? Well, for Team Nordic Pantheon, we have Adri. For the Greek team, we have Liv, and for the Egyptian team, you have myself as the team lead. Megan, who is our clock watcher, is not going to be a team lead. We only decided to have her as our TikTok person just because it's enough of a job as it is, and we wanted to make sure that she had the most ability to be able to run that TikTok since she is on it already quite often, if that makes sense. So here we're going to get into some of the more important rules and regulations when it comes to the readathon. First thing, how do you get points? Well, if you complete a book, you get points. And we have a system set up where even if you DNF books, you do still get a small amount of points for it. Now, the thing is though, is with DNFs, you have to have completed about 25% of the book. And this can be anything from audiobooks, graphic novels, manga, comics, ebooks, physical books, as long as it has a version of it on Goodreads, an edition that we can use to kind of track and figure out how many pages your book that you use has, it will count. So it doesn't matter what kind of format you decide to read it. We just have to be able to verify that it is something that we can see on Goodreads, and because of that, we then have to verify that you have reached the 25% mark by basically figuring out the math of, okay, so if you've read 25% of the book, how many pages is that? Now, DNFs are going to get the lowest amount of points because the idea is that we would like for you guys to complete books as opposed to just DNFing a ton of them. So it has the lowest amount of points in our system because of that. With 5 points going to books that you DNF if you DNF them at about 25% or more of the book. But then on top of that, we have points for, finished books depending on how long those books are. If your book is less than 100 pages, you will be earning 10 points for your book. If your book is between 100 and 200 pages, you will earn 30 points. If your book is between 201 and 400 pages, you will earn 50 points. If your book is 401 to 500 pages, you will earn 70 points. If your book is over 501 pages, but less than 1,000 pages, you will earn 100 points for your book. And if you have a book that is over 1,000 pages that you read, you will earn 200 points flat out. Doesn't matter how many pages more there are than 1,000. If it's over 1,000 points, it's a solid 200. Now, another thing is if you get to the end of the month and you have not been able to finish your book, but you have completed about 75% of that book, those books will count for your page points as well as your prompt points that you earn depending on if you use the book for a prompt or not. So what this means is that if you have a 500-page book and you read 400 pages of that, that would count because you have read 80% of the book, and that will count for the full amount of points that you would have earned for that book for your team. So you would have earned essentially the full 70 points for that book that is 500 pages as opposed to only earning 50 points for having read 400 pages of that book. You will earn full credit for books that you did not complete if you have completed more than 3/4 of that book, which we will also try to help with doing the math on that to figure out how much you will have to have read in order to get the full credit for that book by the end of the month. If you reach out to any of your team leads, they will help as much as you can to figure out how exactly you can earn points for that book. Now let's go into the prompts. So the first thing about prompts is that you can only use the prompt once, and you can only have one prompt associated with one book. So in layman's terms, one book for one prompt, that's it. No doubling or tripling up, and you have to have completed the book to earn the points for that particular prompt. Now we have two separate kinds of prompts. We have our general prompts and our team prompts. General prompts are worth 50 points on top of the page points you earn. So if you complete a book that is 250 pages that you then also say is assigned to a general prompt, you will have earned 100 points total. 50 points for the page count and 50 points for the fact that it was a general prompt that was completed. You have to tell us what prompt your book that you have completed fits in order for us to give you the full credit. If you do not tell us a prompt that the book fits, we will not be giving you the prompt points on top of your page points. You will want to make sure that when you go into your team's respective page on Discord where it says that you have completed the challenges, you have to tell us not just the name of the book, but the author of the book, how many pages the book was, and if it completed a particular prompt. Those 4 things are going to be really important to helping us keep things on track and making sure that we accurately have representation for the different teams as far as points. So what are the general prompts for this round? Well, we have upped our general prompts to 5 prompts as opposed to having 3 in the past. So we have read an LGBTQ book. This can be by an LGBTQ author, involve LGBTQ characters. It does not matter as long as it falls within one of those categories. That also includes things that are non-binary in terms of author or character representation. We have a general read a book. So this is the easiest prompt you can do. If you read a book, you can assign it to this prompt and get an easy 50 points out of it on top of the page points that you will earn for that book. Next, we have Read a Tbr Veteran. So this is something that you have had on your shelves for a long time. A book that you have had for, I would say, at least a year would probably be a good way to go about it. Next, we have Read a Book with Pictures. Now, this can be anything from an actual picture book for children to a middle grade that has illustrations to a manga, a graphic novel. Any book that has any kind of pictures in it is gonna count for this. And the last general prompt we have is to reread a favorite book. Now we move on to the team prompts. Now, like I said before, each individual team is going to have its own set of prompts for the respective team. The thing is though, is that similar to the general prompts, the team prompts will have an additional amount of points associated with them that adds on to the page prompts. The team prompts are gonna be worth 100 points in addition to the page points that you will earn for that book. So going with a 250 page book, again, if you read a book that is 250 pages and you specifically have it set up where it is for a team prompt for your respective team, that book will then be worth 150 points. 50 points for the 250 page book and 100 points for completing a team prompt. Similar to also to the general prompts, you can only use one book for one prompt, no doubling, no tripling up, and you can only use the prompt once, just like with the general prompt. Each team has 5 particular prompts associated with them, so we have a total of 10 prompts for you to use. And remember, if you complete your team prompts, which we will have record of, if you complete your team prompts, you then have also the ability to jump and do other teams' prompts as well, earning you even more points. So like I said earlier, the prompts are basically inspired by the different deities that are associated with the pantheons. So let's start with the Greek pantheon. First, we have Aphrodite, the goddess of beauty, love, desire, and pleasure. So for this, we are asking you to read a book with a beautiful cover. Next, we have the god Apollo, the god of music, arts, knowledge, healing, plague, prophecy, poetry, manly beauty, and archery. This god has a lot of hats on. So for this, we are basically having you guys pick some things more specific to the arts by reading a book that involves something of the arts, whether that's a character that's a writer, a painter, an actor, something involving that, or if music or any kind of thing involving the arts is somehow involved in the actual story. The next goddess we have is Artemis, the goddess of the hunt, wilderness, animals, the moon, and young girls. For this, we are asking you to read a book with a character that isn't like other girls. Y'all know the typical YA heroine that thinks that they're all that in a bag of chips and thinks that they're so much different than the rest of them. Pick your favorite one, or pick one that you're literally trying to figure out why they think that they're not like other girls, and read that book. Next, we have Poseidon, the god of the sea, rivers, floods, droughts, and earthquakes. For this, it's simple. Read a book with a blue cover. And finally, for the Greek pantheon, we have the man, the legend. Y'all know him. Some of you love him, some of you hate him. The man of the hour, Zeus, god of the sky, thunder, weather, lightning, law, order, and justice. Surprisingly, not something I would have thought for Zeus, but apparently he is actually a big person when it comes to law and order. And because of that, we have decided to have you guys read a mystery thriller to complete the Zeus prompt. Next, we have the Norse Pantheon, with the first one being a very well-known character, Thor, the god of thunder. So for this, we are asking you to read a book with lightning and or some kind of dark clouds on the cover. Next, we have the All-Father himself, Odin. For this, we are asking you to read a book featuring a large family, whether that is a found family or basically a band of random misfits that seem to kind of work well together and think of themselves as their own family, or a biological family. Either one will work for this. Next, we have Brog, the god of poetry and prose. For this, we're asking you to read a book of poems. Next, we have the lovely, lovely Loki, the trickster god. Personally, one of my favorites. I love his mythology. He is one of my favorite men to read about and learn of the antics of, but for this we're asking you to read a book with an unreliable narrator. And finally, for the Norse Pantheon, we have Frigg, the goddess of love and fate, and for this we're asking you to read a book featuring romance. Could be anything, as long as it has some kind of romantic plot. It could be a fantasy romance, it could be a mystery thriller that has a love interest of some kind somewhere in there. As long as it features some kind of romance, that will work. And finally, we have my team, which is the Egyptian Pantheon. Now, I specifically picked people that not only most people would probably associate with the Egyptian Pantheon, but that I thought would be really, really fun for a lot of people. So, first and foremost, the Macdani, Ra, the sun god. Read a book with either yellow or orange on the cover. Next, we have the lovely lady Isis, the goddess of healing and magic. And for this, my personal favorite is to read a fantasy. Next, we have Osiris, the god of death and resurrection. For this, we're asking you to read a book that has something to do with death. Now, this could be anything from a supernatural book to paranormal, or this could also be something that involves war. Because basically what we're asking you is to just read something that involves something that's either dying or dead.
Editing Gabby here. Sorry, I forgot a prompt, but the other prompt that I had totally forgot about before the last one that I'm going to show you guys in a second is for the god Seth. This is the god of chaos, violence, deserts, and storms. So we're basically asking you to read something that's in a hot place. It could be a planet that's deserty, the desert itself, a tropical island, someplace where it's warm or disgustingly hot.
And finally, the last prompt for the Egyptian Pantheon is Bastet, the cat lady herself. Bastet is also the goddess of pregnancy and childbirth. So for this one though, we're not going to play on that because there could be a lot of issues surrounding around pregnancy and childbirth stories. So what we're going with is the fact that Bastet is a cat, or has the head of a cat at least. And we're going with a book that has an animal companion, whether that's magical or not, as long as there's an animal that's involved that's like one of the, traveling companions of some sort of the character. That's all we care about. We just love animals. So for this readathon also, I would like to say we are not doing a group book of any means. That is way too much work for everybody, and with as many prompts as we have, I'm sure there's going to be a ton of people that are going to probably be reading a lot of the same things. So we do encourage that if you would like to buddy read with people that are reading similar prompts to you, to definitely do so. Connect with each other in our Discord and figure out if people are going to want to do a buddy read of any kind. So I told you guys how we have a TikTok now, but did you guys also know that we have an Instagram? I will leave that also in the description for you guys, and similar to how we have done in the past, we will be doing Instagram challenges on there. The thing is though, it doesn't have to be on Instagram you have to complete these challenges. They can be done on any platform that we have access to. So Instagram, TikTok, you could put them on our Discord. We'll be making tabs for the challenges for you to put in things. Now the thing is you have to make sure that we know what your tag is on Discord, because basically we want to make sure that we put the points in the right team's place, because you're going to earn points for winning the Instagram challenges. Everybody who participates is going to get 10 points for their teams for participating in the Instagram challenge, but we will be picking 3 winners, 1 for each team lead, and the winners will be earning 50 points for their team. So make sure that when you give us your challenge entry, you leave your Discord name in either the caption or in some way so that we can make sure that your Discord name is what's used when we go to implement points. Because we use your guys' Discord names for entries for your books, so they're gonna get all wrapped into your points for your books. Now the thing with the challenges for Instagram is they are going to be happening every Wednesday. That again can have entries come through on Instagram, TikTok, on the Discord. It does not matter for us. We do have particular prompts we will be using that are going to try to emulate the theme of this round, so keep your eyes peeled for that. We are also going to be having TikTok challenges for you guys to also be involved in that will also earn you points. We will also be doing lives on Instagram for reading sprints. Now unfortunately for us, Instagram only allows us to do hour-long lives, so we may just be doing a few sprints, but we will always be having a sprint bot running in the Discord for you guys to use at your leisure. We may try to do some YouTube-based ones, at least for me. I don't know if Adri is going to want to do YouTube lives, but I will at least be live streaming every now and then on my channel to also do reading sprints. How exactly do we determine who wins the readathon? Well, we determine who wins the readathon based on the average amount of points that the team earns. So for each person that puts in their points for their team, regardless if it's page points or if it's for challenges that they do, for instance, the amount of points that we have will be divvied up by how many people have submitted or have earned points. And so the average is what we will be going off of. This is how we've been doing things for a long time. It is what works best for us in terms of fighting fairly and giving every team a fair shot. So with that, the winning team will then get to decide what the theme for the next round is going to be. So with that being said, that is all of the information you are going to need for the next round of Battle of the Bookish for January 2022. If you guys have any additional questions, please feel free to leave them here in the comments below this video, or you can go to our Discord and go to the tab Ask a Master, and we will answer as many questions as we can for you if there's still anything that seems confusing. But I know that there are a ton of changes happening this time, so please bear with us as we accommodate for those changes, and keep your eyes peeled again for our TikTok and more information going forward regarding the readathon. Remember, it is starting at midnight on January 1st in your time zone. If you guys did enjoy this video, please do give it a big thumbs up, and if you haven't already and you'd like to be, I would like to see more content like this, go ahead and hit that button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock, and I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye guys!